Hi there, welcome back to Tony's Fords and Mustangs. Today we're going to go over some modifications that I've done to my 2021 Mach 1. They're cheap, easy, anybody can do these updates. Okay, number one would be hood struts, hydraulic hood struts. Ford put a prop rod on this car. Prop rod shouldn't be on this car. You take this car to a car show on a windy day, your hood's going to be jumping all around. You're going to hate it. It's a simple one. I put Redline Hood struts on. Cost me 90 bucks. I think I got them at CJ Pony Parts. It's easy. So these are Redline tuning hood struts, and they use a factory bolt location there and a factory bolt location there. So there's no type of alteration that needs to be done. It's very simple to put those things in. It's one bolt there, one bolt there. You have your hood strut on the driver's side. And then if we switch over to the passenger side, this requires a little bit of modification to your battery cover, but it's just a simple hole that's drilled. So you can use a step bit on that, just go all the way down through and you're good. And then once again, it's one bolt, and you're good. And the hood itself now is really solid. So you can, this thing's not going anywhere. So you go to a car show, you have your hood up, you can walk away and forget it. If you have a prop rod, it's going to be something you're going to worry about. And you're going to spend a lot of time in your engine compartment over the life of your car. So to get hydraulic hood struts on this thing seems like just a no-brainer. Okay, number two, oil catch can. Something you want on every Coyote. It's also a simple installation. You don't even have to do anything with hardware. These are just Ford clips. So I'm going to show you. I got an actual Ford Motorsport catch can, but you can get any catch can, and they vary from, I don't know if I'd go with the eBay ones that are 30, 40 bucks. Probably get like a JTL, something like that. But they vary from right around 90 to, if you go all the way to the Ford Motorsport one, and I went that way just because it was on my boss, and it was quick to move it over to this car. But I think that run me around 240-ish, 230, and it does catch a lot of the oil that would be sucked into your intake otherwise. So there's my Ford Motorsport oil catch can. Okay, and this is plumb from your passenger side valve cover, and this is a really simple clip right here. Just push this thing over, and it comes off. Same way on that side, so it's just a clip right there that you're going to push over and it pops off. There is one push pin in here that holds it to the valve cover right there, and that's it. I mean, that's really all you have there. That's how much oil. This is actually not even 2,000 miles. This is about 80. So I cleaned it, I guess, when I got back from my trip. But you can see that oil just moving around in there. And now that I have it open, obviously I'm going to clean it. But I thought I had not cleaned it since I got back from my trip, but apparently it must have been cleaned after 2,000 miles, but that's about 80 miles. So in 80 miles, there's that much oil rolling around. And if you don't have a catch can, it's going to go right back into your intake, and eventually it'll be burned off by your plugs. But you don't want to foul your plugs. You want to keep that additional oil out of your intake. This would be the way to do it. Next on my mod list would be splash guards or mud flaps or whatever nomenclature you want to use. Now, Ford does supply them for the rear of these cars, and there may be some manufacturers that are making them now for the Mach 1s. I purchased the car, especially with the handling pack, it wasn't an option. So I got a set from California Mustangs for a GT350, and I simply altered them. So that's a set of splash guards for a GT350, and they've simply been cut here to allow the wheel lip molding for the HP cars. And they still, and these are going to be filthy, right? But they still use the two factory mounting points. And then this is two-way tape up here that holds this on. But this was just simply cut. And it's plastic, so plastic's an easy thing to cut. So I used a torch and a cutting blade. X-Acto knife or carpenter knife would do the trick, but get that thing hot, it'll go right through that plastic, and then you can make that fit. And I think these were, once again, around $70, $80 for the pair. But it's going to save your rear quarters over time. So next, and this is something you don't absolutely need. But I mean, it's no secret in the Mustang community, we like to hear the engine. And the Mach 1s all come with the active exhaust. So in the past, you know, with previous generation Mustangs, the first thing you do is get a different set of mufflers and mount them up to get the sound you're looking for. Mufflers, they're not cheap, right? What is cheap and relatively simple to do is a resonator delete. So a resonator is on there to lower the sound of the car, so the car sounds quieter. So if you delete that, but you still have the active exhaust, the car's relatively quiet when it's in its normal operation mode. When you go to your track modes, your Sport Plus mode, the sound really does pick up. And the system I have on here, and yeah, I have a lift, so it makes it a lot easier, but you could do this on jack stands with not a whole lot of trouble. So the things you're going to need is a Sawzall with a metal blade. You need a good measuring tape, and you want to measure 2, 3, 4 times. Make sure you measure correctly and follow the instructions in the whatever res delete kit you get. But it's just a matter of cutting the resonator out and adding the delete kit. Now mine is I'm going to show you this is a BBK, but you've got, you know, 2 clamps in the front, 2 clamps in the back, and you're going to put this X pipe in here, which is going to delete the resonator. So you're going to get a lot more of the engine noise out of the car. Now, one thing I'll caution you about, and I have a video, it's like the second or third video I did, the active exhaust on the passenger side is real close to the frame. On this side, this cut here had to be redone. And that 1/8 of an inch pushed this exhaust side back enough that the active exhaust valve there, the wires on the active exhaust valve actually ground out in the frame, and that wore the covering off the wires. That caused a short. Now I noticed that pretty quickly and pulled this side down again, cut it back about, I'm going to say maybe 1/4 inch, and pushed it forward so that that valve had the room back there. So that's the one thing you got to watch with this. But if you think that your exhaust is nice but maybe not as loud as you want, I think this kit from BBK is right around 200 bucks, which for exhaust mod is cheap. And if you get the thing up on jack stands, you can certainly make the cuts. You got plenty of room in here with a Sawzall. So I'm not a Sawzall wizard, and I was able to make the additional cut I needed to get the exhaust valve to work the way it needed to work and have it stop blowing fuses. But yeah, this is, as far as to get the noise level up a little bit with these cars, that's the quickest and easiest way that you can do it. You don't have to mess with long tube headers or none of that. You don't have to do a cat delete. Yeah, I mean, if you want to be obnoxiously loud, then yeah, you can go that way. But to get a nice sound out of your car for a little bit of money and not a whole lot of headache as far as exhaust work goes, that's the way to go. Okay, and the last thing I want to go over today, and this is something for all the guys out there, gals out there that have the non-handling pack cars, but you really like the look of this lower splitter. These are available from Ford. I saw them online for around 300 bucks. And this is not something you need to take to your dealer to get installed. I'm guaranteeing the dealer is going to charge you $100, $200 to put this thing in. What you need is, and this is a rivet gun, plastic rivet gun. They ship with 4 screws and 20 plastic rivets. I got my car, these things were not shipping with the cars when they came out initially. So it was something I had to wait about, I think, in 3 weeks to get from Ford. When it did come in, the dealer said, "Do you want us to install it?" I'm like, I got a lift, I can do it. And you don't need a lift to do this. You need to get the car and jack stands, at least in the front. So if you get the car and jack stands in the front. So this piece of equipment is about as easy as it gets. You take a plastic rivet, drop the plastic rivet in, push it up into the hole it's going to go into, and then just squeeze this thing. And that's going to pull the head of the rivet down, make it expand, and it's going to hold it for you. The 4 screws are located back in this area. The rest of this thing just attaches with plastic rivets. I started in the center with the plastic rivets and then worked my way around. And that's what I would suggest you do as well. I'm thinking it was 15 minutes. So it takes you longer to get your car up in the air than it does to actually install this lower splitter. Okay, that spoiler splitter or whatever Ford wants to call it. And I found a place that's right outside of Philadelphia that's selling it for like, I think it's $2.99. So I'm going to put a link in the description to that. But for you guys that have the non-handling pack cars and like this look, it's available to you from Ford. It's a Ford OEM part. It ships with the rivets and the 4 screws. And once you get the car up in the air, 15, 20 minutes, maybe if you're taking your time. And it's simple. Okay, so here's your plastic rivets. And that's how they go. And a lot of people are concerned that this extra splitter is going to give you less ground clearance. But if you look, it's actually above the drip pan for the oil. So it's above that. So yeah, I've scraped both a couple times. But there's your plastic rivets. That's where they go in. They simply just go on, and it's a simple install. Put your rivets in all the way around. You've got your 1, 2 screws on this side. Actually, there's 3, so I lied to you. 3 screws on this side. A couple of more rivets to pop in there, and you're going to town. So actually, those silver screws, they come with the lower splitter from Ford. So you're just putting these rivets in. So rivets and the black screws, the 2 black screws on this side, and rivet. I sound like a frog, right? You put your rivets in, and then your 2 screws on this side, and you're done. So 1, 2 screws on this side, and the rest of it is just plastic rivets. And that rivet gun, it's literally 2 seconds to pop a rivet in. No big deal. I hope that helps somebody out there. I think this is actually a good look for the car. I didn't know if I was going to like it at first. I was worried about it rubbing, but it's a neat look. It's different, and it's really simple to put on your car. Thanks for watching. I think subscribe is right there, and then there's other videos over there that you can watch again. I'm up to 182 subscribers, yippee-doo. So that's not too bad, right? So if you're not one of those 182, join the club. So I'd like to have you there. And I'll try to only bring you things that I think people are going to be interested in. I've got some more reviews coming up. I'm thinking about doing a review on the 70 Mach 1. Not sure if anybody's really interested in that. There's a lot of video out there of me driving the car, but it's spread out over a long trip. So I could give you like the condensed version of what it's like to have one of those. But thanks again. Hit the subscribe button, and until next time, hey, we'll see you.